Hey guys, I'm back here at AK Racing with Blake. He's pulled my engine down now. He's had a look at the bottom end and now he's going to run us through what he found. How are you, Blake?
Good. How are you, Paul?
Good, man.
Welcome back.
I'd like to say I'm happy to be here, but I've had a quick look at what you're about to show me, so a little bit reserved.
Some unfortunate news, but we'll go through it all and give you the rundown.
Okay, where do you want to start? This end with the pistons?
Yeah, we can start with the pistons. Few concerning things straight away. Piston rings really gummed up. You can sort of see I'm putting a lot of pressure there. They're really, really gummed up. Not ideal. We want those to be free moving.
So even when the engine's been running for ages, those never ever gum up. They're just freely...
They shouldn't gum up. No, they definitely shouldn't come up. Not ideal in that scenario there. And then as you can see on the rod, just some surface rust building up there.
Seems to be across
all of them.
Across all of them.
Yeah, some worse than others.
Yep.
And then we move down into the bearings. You can sort of see inside there, lots of marks.
All those score marks.
Lots of scoring in there. Definitely not what we want to see on these.
What would have caused that?
It can be debris going through the engine, oil issues. It can be a number of different things. Debris definitely lines up with what we see in the oil pump. Quite a lot of scoring through the oil pump there as well. You can see a lot of sort of marks there along the outside, and that sort of trends all the way through all the components there.
So is this oil pump recoverable?
Look, probably not. We definitely put a new one in there. Don't want to play around with something like an oil pump too much. Definitely going the new route's the way to go.
Have you got an oil pump in mind? Something to talk about later?
Yeah, something to talk about later. I mean, the same pump, Tomei pumps, any of those sort of pumps, really good for these things. One with no scoring is the ideal way.
What do we got next?
So move over to the crank. As you mentioned before we pulled it out, you were aware of some sort of marks and stuff that were in it previously. You can definitely see there's some sort of chips on most of them all the way along, discoloration and stuff. Now, we're not sure if this is usable or not yet. We'll send it away, have it checked right over before we make a call on what we do with it.
Where's your biggest concern on it?
I think it's all going to be about clearances. So whatever we need to do to machine this back to good, we need to make sure that it's going to stay within the tolerances we're looking for and to keep it safe for the crank. If we have any concerns that it's going to go outside that window, then unfortunately we'll have to look at another option there. But at this stage, unsure, we'll send it away, get it all checked and tested, and we can sort of go from there.
Yeah, you were showing me earlier that you rub your fingernail along here.
Some of them you can sort of rub your fingernail across and you can feel it catching and some grooves and things. Not what we want to feel when we touch these.
What would the cause of that be?
Same thing as the rest of it, just debris, oil issues, that sort of thing. There's a lot of factors that can play into what can cause these things. Based on what we've seen across the board, we'd likely say debris and stuff has gone through it, or bits of bearing or stuff like that.
So it's pretty much the same thing, same story, right through the whole, wherever the oil went.
Yeah.
You're finding damage.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's one of the biggest things. Like if you ever have an issue in an engine that's related in the oil, it's going to go through and damage a lot more things as it passes through everything. So you just have to take that in mind when we're stripping things down. We make sure we go over everything that oil touches with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that we're not missing any piece anywhere.
How does this stuff, you got the oil filter in there that's meant to catch all the debris.
Yep.
What's the mechanism? Is this on the early startups before the oil's had a chance to circulate?
Not necessarily. It can be a number of different things, like a bearing breaking down can put debris through everything, a component in the engine breaking down, pieces of rust, like if those pieces of rust are flaking and then going through the engine, it's not ideal.
So the journey to the filter.
Yes, it's the journey to the filter that does all the damage there.
Yeah, okay. And what do you got here?
So these are all the crank bearings. Pretty obvious. You sort of can have a see all those bearings. Definitely don't look the way you want them to look.
They all look like they've got burn marks on them.
Yeah, they've got quite a lot of damage to it, and it's replicated over in the block side as well.
And damage like this to the bearings, would that be not enough oil or swarf again?
Again, a number of different issues can cause it. Clearances, oil, debris in the oil, lots of different factors contribute to all these things. E85 content in the oil.
No E85 in this engine.
So this car never has that issue. But yeah, what we find on E85 cars is one thing that's really overlooked is once you start running E85, you really got to service the car a lot more. It breaks down in the oil, builds up in there, and you can end up with issues like this. If it's a daily car and you're streeting it a lot on E85, definitely maintenance is super key to make sure you don't run into issues like this.
So does the E85 break down the integrity of the oil itself, does it?
Yeah, so it gets into the oil and it breaks down, thins it right out. E85 acts as like a cleaner and goes through, and yeah, it's not an ideal scenario. We always tell everybody that runs E85, catch cans and good servicing. It's a must, especially with all our track guys. Every time before the car goes to the track, we're checking oil condition. Is it too thin? Does it smell like E85? And we make sure we take all the precautions we can to get that good, so we're not running into issues like this.
Yeah, cool, cool. You've got the block upside down.
This is where the sort of main sort of concern at the moment comes from with us, and that's obviously you got the bearings there from the crank. You can see they sort of match what we're seeing on the other ones over there. Still a lot of damage, not what you want to see. There is some damage in the bores. We've measured up the bores, and this block's already at the limit of what we can machine it out to, which means unfortunately this block isn't going to be usable.
So I need a new block.
Yeah. Hard pill to swallow. We sort of were.
That's in the RB world, man.
Yeah, for sure. And we did speak about it prior to us pulling this down, that we weren't sure what this was going to measure at and stuff like that. And it was confirmed once we pulled it down and measured everything up that, yeah, it's definitely already at the limit. And it gives us no leeway to machine anything to get it back to right. With the damage that's in some of these cylinders, it's just going to go well outside that range. And that's never a good thing to try and run that like that.
So is the plan, we send the crank away? Because we really need to know the condition of that before we go forward, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. We're going to send that crank away. We'll get a picture of whether that's usable or not.
Yep.
And then from there, I think we've got a few sort of options in mind that we've spoken about, and we'll sit down and go through which one we think is going to be the best. Yeah, we'll pick one that works and go from there. Okay.
Should we go have a look at the chassis and talk about a two-stage process?
Yeah, easy as.
So Blake, here we are. She's getting a bit covered in dust.
Yep.
I'm thinking now that the engine's in the condition it's in, you got to send it away, get machined, the head needs assembly. We got to work out what we're doing with the block. Why don't we flip the script, start working on the chassis now and get that all prepped up. So once the engine's ready, we just drop it into a finished car.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the way to go. We always had the plan of doing the engine first, but now with what we're dealing with there, I think flipping the script's going to be awesome.
First thing I think is there's a few things that are going to need mod plates. Yeah. So like we got the brake system, we're changing those over to the Brembos, swapping the seats out, putting the fuel system in. Be good to get all that mod plated up because I want this thing fully street legal when we're finished.
Yeah.
Also, I gave you we got a new bumper bar, got a new lip, got a new rear bar.
Yeah, so we'll get it all ironed out, all ready to go, so that literally all that's left is the engine when we get to that point.
Yeah, cool. So, I think that covers it all.
Yeah, there's quite an extensive bit of parts up there, but I think you covered it all there. So all the body work, we'll get all that lined up and on there nice and neat. The boys have started doing the brakes on it and getting all that up together.
Perfect.
We'll do the seats and fuel system and all those other bits and bobs we had in the plan going at the beginning.
At what stage do you wire the ECU in?
The ECU we'll do once the engine's back. That way we can install all the new sensors that we need to install at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And we know where things are going to sit. If we do it before the engine goes in, we can sort of guesstimate where sensors are going to fit. We'd prefer to just make it look nice and neat by knowing exactly where that sensor is going to be and have the exact length of wire we need there.
Well, I guess all the risk of damage of the paint is taken care of by you guys doing the seats and all the aero stuff. So
yeah, exactly.
The plan is to paint the engine bay, repaint the car, get it looking mint, drop an engine in, and have a hard street time attack, back in 90s, early 2000s sort of.
Yeah. And I'm sure people see the dust and get a bit worried with the plans to get it painted. So we had that in mind going into this anyway. And once we replace all the body panels and do all our bit with the chassis stuff, we've got a painter lined up that we're going to get this thing all pretty and ready for the new engine.
Yep, it's going to be awesome. I'll come back again when the crank gets back and we got a plan for the engine. We'll cover that off and see where you're at with getting all that stuff fitted to the car.
Yep.
It'll be really obvious because none of it's painted. So we'll see exactly what you got up to.
It's going to stand out and look very different. Yep.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Blake.
Easy as.
Till next time.